Homeowner Association President, aka Karen of the neighborhood, does the stupidest thing you can ever imagine. This is one wild story, and I'm going to tell you it's about revenge, justice, and sweet, sweet karma. My name's Mr. Reddito, and let's get right into story number 1. Backstory: I own a bunch of rentals in a bunch of communities. I'm no stranger to HOAs and legal battles. I have a company attorney on retainer. I just moved into a community and finally bought myself a house, and I plan to stay in for a while. A month after closing, construction starts. Permits pulled, all legal work during the day, follow all the CCRs, etc. Well, Karen recently got elected to the board, and in her own words, the war is on. This war started when I requested the following: HOA financial documents, 2 months and they have not produced, a temporary reasonable accommodation after a major surgery. I was told to go duck myself. Her husband changing his oil in the parking lot. I got it on video on my security camera. So far, I've received 4 violation notices. Speeding in the parking lot, political sign, opponent to her political sign, violation of peaceful enjoyment, construction noise, and finally, harassing the HOA. This one was just a cease and desist. Also, destruction of community property for washing my car with a water hose. So, my attorney goes to work on this upcoming battle. My attorney BCCs me on all emails to the association and the management company. I wish I was making this up. Karen is so ducking stupid. She replied all on an email meant for just the property manager. Here's a few snippets. I'm going to keep fining him and make his life hell. He's a nightmare and a punk kid with too much money. We're going to drown him in lawyer fees and send him the bill until he finally submits to me. This is now personal. I'm on a mission to show that punk kid with his parents' money that I'm the freaking president, and he'll do as I say. My lawyer called me 6 times at 10:30 last night and said, "Holy shit, check your email." 9 a.m., my attorney sent a cease and desist to the entire board and included a copy of the email. Mine and his phone have been blowing up nonstop from the other 4 board members and their attorney just trying to talk. This woman may be the stupidest person on planet Earth. I honestly cannot wait to see the fallout from this. Hey guys, Mr. Reddito here. So, there's an update on this story, but first, I want to check out a relevant comment from the original poster that was posted after the first post. It reads, "I don't want to sue to association or get paid. I just want the board to make decisions that have good positive impacts on the community. Suing the board honestly does nothing. The insurance company pays or it comes from reserved funds. Nothing happens to them personally because they're all indemnified. I've only sued when I really have to. Last year, I won an ADA judgment against another property where I have a disabled tenant. I wound up giving the tenant half and donated my part to a dog park community under the condition the current administration resigns. My attorney is trying to figure out a way to get around her indemnity as a board member and go after her personally. Personally, HOA board members should be required to have license through the state similar to realtors, and an estate oversight committee. It's insane things need to be resolved in court with enormously expensive lawyers. Okay, here's the update. I'm going to sum this up and give as much detail as I can. I've also been drinking since noon, so this may be a little jumbly. I apologize. My phone, Facebook linked, and all social presence stopped getting blown up by the other board members after the attorney made it clear to leave me alone. It's becoming harassment. Of course, COVID. The courts are closed. The attorney sent them letters stating what his hourly rate was, and they would be receiving a bill if it doesn't stop. That seemed to work. Last night, my attorney calls and asks if I'd be willing to hop on a Zoom call with the entire board, Karen included, and the association's attorney. My attorney came to my house and we hopped on the call together. Their lawyer started off aggressive, stating my harassment on the board would not be tolerated. My guess, just to intimidate us? My attorney shared the screen with email open and silence. We assumed Karen told the rest of the board what happened, but apparently she did not give all the details, just that there was an email exchange, and apparently I was being the aggressor. My attorney and I aren't quite sure what they'll all be thinking, but once they all read the email, silence, and a Karen immediately hopped off the Zoom call. The vice president asked if we can take a recess and call us right back. In a few minutes. 10 minutes later, attorney gets an email with Karen's immediate resignation. We all hop back on the call, without Karen, and the other 4 board members could not stop apologizing and kept asking the attorney why they were not informed, and he said, "Why did we not know about this situation?" He quickly hopped off the call. We assumed he won't be representing the association anymore. The other 4 members said that they would need to confer with the council moving forward, but they will make this right. For right now, the board told me I can leave my political signs up, but to just ignore Karen until they can figure out what to do. Unfortunately, in my something to do with my homestead, your house is protected against litigation. But my attorney did not draft up a demand letter to Karen personally for damages. Because the courts are closed, we can't serve her until the stay-in-place order is lifted and the courts reopen. But it was made very clear Karen is to have zero contact with me, my family, property, etc. We're not waiting until the remaining board hires new representation next week, and we expect some sort of settlement request. Nothing super exciting, but she was fired immediately. They're going to also start searching for a new property management next week. I'll update if I hear anything. Side note, I was walking my dog this AM and Karen was outside and walked right up to me and started petting my dog like nothing happened. I have 300 cameras in front of my house that caught the entire thing. I asked her 3 times to back away and stop. I put my dog back inside. Poor guy only got a 2-minute walk. We called the police, who made it clear to her they have to come out again. She will be going to jail. In short, she is not indemnified by the HOA and is no longer on the board. This is going to cost her and the HOA major buckaroos. We did make it clear we don't want any of the community's money. It will only hurt the other homeowners. Karen is royally ducked. In my opinion on this story, the Karen got everything she deserved. I mean, she has to not be the brightest tool in the box to send the email out to everyone. I think Karen just thought that she was so powerful, and she thought in her head, "Ooh, he's messed with the wrong girl today." Well, little did she know, OP was not going down without a fight. Guys, let me know your exact thoughts on this story. In your home or organization or wherever you live, apartment, complex, anywhere, have you dealt with anyone of authority just like this, Karen? Share your story with me. I would love to read it. There's another story we're going to talk about. Entitle is Entitled Grandparents Decide to Choose Between Grandkids. This one's pretty crazy. Let's get right to it. I got married last year. Hooray. But a year before that, me and my now wife settled on a venue and then started the process of whittling down guests. We had a ceremony capacity of 80. I come from a quite large family with a few friends. She has a small family but a ton of friends. Mostly, we share her friend group. However, this did lead us to making a couple of rules. Number 1, only inviting family members to the day part of the wedding we had both actually seen during our 5-year relationship. No random cousins or uncles who never enter our lives. Number 2, no one below 16. We came to our own conclusion, rightfully or wrongly, that we would rather have more adults there who are more likely to enjoy the day, instead of kids who may not. Also, if we invited all the kids in the family, it would be a quarter of our capacity. So, when we got engaged, my grandparents, only ones I have left on my side of the family, were very happy and immediately told me to invite who we wanted. And forget everyone else. Do what we want. Once we made the decision regarding venue, the decision around inviting children followed pretty much after. This is where the drama begins. I'm the oldest grandchild to their oldest son. They do have 3 sons and my dad and 2 uncles. My dad and his oldest brother all have kids over 16. Youngest brother, however, has 4, all under 11. This uncle and aunt tend to use my grandparents a lot of extra childcare and support, which is fine. However, it's led to the situation where they are regarded as their babies and need extra attention. However, the choice we made led to my GPs immediately saying they will not come to the wedding if they're not invited. This took all of us, my parents included, by very much surprise. Especially as we heard that the aunt and uncle affected were fine with it. However, my grandpa strong-armed them into agreeing with their positioning. This led to my dad having a conversation with the grandparents to try to make them see some sense. I never got the details. All I know is that it ended with my dad leaving the house after telling my grandmother that the word stubborn would be set on her grave. And he's usually a very controlled individual. 2 days later, my sister, who was 21 at the time, dropped by theirs to say hello. She was there chatting normally, and my grandma just cuts in and goes, "So then, what do you have to say about it all?" This took her back, and she defended our position. My grandma argued that we were picking on them, and always believed we were better than that family. She also said she wanted a nice picture of the grandkids together. My sister asked her how she could be choosing between the grandkids. Doesn't she love all of us the same? She did not respond for a few seconds before eventually saying, "Well, they're younger. They're our babies." My sister left in tears. I felt terrible and responsible for the fallout. My dad talked me out of going around and having it out with them. He said leave and we will see if they come around. Time passes and I'm delivering invites to relatives. I was also rushing to meet a friend, so it was very much in and out of the houses. I arrived at their house and only remembered the situation as I walked in. I handed them the invite and was immediately told they will not be attending. I was stunned in silence. I told them the decision won't be personal and all kids were welcome to the evening party. They told me it wasn't fair and it should be for everyone or they won't come. I finally crack and shout at them. I state I don't realize my grandparents' attendance was conditional. They reply with, "How do you think this makes us feel?" I blur out, "How do you feel?" My grandparents aren't coming to my ducking wedding. They asked me to leave. I walk to the door, turn around, walk back, grab the invite and say, "You won't be needing this," and I leave. I haven't seen them since. On a plus note, the wedding was amazing. The additional friends we invited really made it a party atmosphere. I wouldn't change it for the world. I've decided it was their loss and it's something they will have to live with. Ultimately, I think this is OP's wedding, so they can decide what they want to do. If they have a rule that says no one under 16, well, that's their rule. I'm really disappointed in the grandparents for not showing up. Actually, a comment I came across said, "It's their loss. Nobody who says things like that deserves to be present at such a wonderful day." And someone else said, "Exactly. If they truly loved you, they would have came, regardless of whether those kids were invited or not." I do agree with those opinions, but let me know your thoughts on this story in the comment section down below. Our next story is kind of controversial. This is the title. My mom is forcing me to keep a kid I don't want, and OP is a 14-year-old female. Let's get right to it. My mother's trying to make me have a kid. I don't want it at all. Also, some updates here. So, my mom knows that I'm pregnant. What happened was, I was in my room and she came in wondering what was wrong with me, because I've been tired and sick a lot. She wanted to take me to a doctor, but I just told her, I know exactly why I'm feeling this way. And then I asked her to please not get mad. I told her I'm pregnant. She thought I was joking, but when she found out I was serious, she just stared at me for a while, not talking. She just got up then and left my room. She did not talk to me for 2 days after that. Until yesterday morning. She busted into my room and told me to get dressed, we're going to the doctor. When in the car, she started talking to me about who was the father and stuff. She just kept saying, quote, "I can't believe how stupid I was to not see." We got to the doctor, and I say it like that because I found out later it was a pregnancy crisis center. We get there and they ran all this testing stuff to confirm I'm pregnant 8 weeks. Then we sat down with some counselor lady, and she was going through my options and did not bring up abortion once. My mom started to talk for me and started asking about adoption agencies. I then shut down their conversation and said I want an abortion. My mom gets mad at me saying, "You know for a fact we don't believe in that." Then I just told her, "You don't believe in it, but I do. I don't want to be pregnant in high school." The counselor started to go on a rant about how wrong it is, and I guess they both can tell I wasn't interested, so they tried to get me into an ultrasound. I then told them I don't want to do that. My mom then tells me I'm being a brat, and that she's my mom and I need to do what she says. I then acted like I was going to the bathroom, but I just left and called my brother to order me a lift. Before y'all say that was a bratty move I did, I texted my mom I was going home the minute I got into the lift. I get home and my mom gets home later. She told me that abortion is not an option. And get it straight. And I've only have 2 options and to pick, and that she's done talking to me and sent me to my grandmother's house. So, not a really positive outcome. I've been crying about thinking the fact that I have to carry a baby I don't want. Kind of an update here. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for the support. I did not think it would get that much online support. Second, this post is not fake. I made my post at the worst possible time, way before Roe v. was verdict. So, it started to trend a bit, I guess. But this will be my last update for a while. I'm tired of being shamed and called a murderer for what I want to do. I told my mom to hopefully get support from her and just be there for me, and I was of course wrong. It really hurts to feel like she doesn't listen to me. I'm just really scared. So, I know I keep talking about it, but just know it's a lot for me to handle and I'm extremely depressed. I have no one to talk to in personal life that hears what I want. I'm scared to fake a miscarriage because it would need to be reported. I can't leave home for an extensive time without my mom knowing something's up. This is tough. This is such a tough situation to be in for the mother and for OP. I found a comment that has a similar related story. It posts, I had my son 2 months after I turned 15. Thankfully, my mother was supportive at the time. I moved out of the family's home a couple months after he was born, and grew up really fast. The first few years were pretty rocky, but he's a great kid, and survived my mothering. He turns 47 this year. He's a lawyer with a secondary degree in international business, so I'm pretty proud of the long-term outcome. I must have done something right. So guys, it seems not just because you're in this position, it's always going to be gloomy. This person went through something so similar and made the best out of it. Let me know your thoughts of this in the comment section down below. I would love to hear it. That's all the stories I have for you guys to do. If you want to support me, the best way to do it is just by smashing that subscribe button. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.